So sleep is one of those really interesting things, is it not? I mean, you think about the fact that we spend 1/3 of our lives lying down and doing nothing, and yet we all need it. So tell us about why.
Yeah, it is that sort of common idea that, when we sleep, our brain is largely dormant and our body just lies at rest. Nothing further could be sort of away from the truth. The body undergoes a remarkable overhaul in terms of all of its physiological systems, your cardiovascular system, your immune system, your metabolic system, all of your hormones. And then upstairs in the brain, in fact, during certain stages of sleep, some parts of your brain are up to 30% more active than when you're awake. And during deep sleep, for example, the brain is transferring memories from short term to long term so you don't forget. It's recalibrating your emotional networks so that you wake up with a stable mood and a positive mood. And it also refines your decision-making capacities as well. But what I love about your question, Nelda, is sort of just the idiocy of sleep when you think about it from an evolutionary perspective. Because firstly, when we're asleep, we're not finding a mate, we're not reproducing, we're not caring for our young, we're not finding food, and we're vulnerable to predation. So on any one of those grounds, but especially as a collective, sleep should have been strongly selected against in the course of evolution. And in fact, it's been said that if sleep does not serve an absolutely vital function, then it is the biggest mistake the evolutionary process has ever made. And what we've learned over the past 20 or 30 years now is that Mother Nature did not make a spectacular blunder creating this thing called sleep. In fact, sleep is probably Mother Nature's best effort yet at immortality. It's remarkable.
The brain is an interesting organ, and we'll go further into what the body is doing if we can while we are sleeping. Do you have some specifics on that?
Yeah, so let me come on to the immune system because I think it's so relevant right now. There is a very intimate relationship between your sleep health and your immune health. And it's during sleep that firstly, we actually restock the weaponry in our immune arsenal. And so sleep will actually stimulate the creation of lots of wonderful immune factors that will help you fight off and make you more resilient as an organism. But what we've also discovered is that it's not only during sleep that you produce these critical immune factors, but your body is sensitized to those immune factors. So when you wake up the next morning, you've got more of them and your body is better able to receive them. And that's why we find when you start sleeping less, you become immune compromised. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. Firstly, what we know is that individuals who are sleeping less than 7 hours a night are almost 3 times more likely to become infected by the rhinovirus, which is the common cold. We also know that women who are sleeping 5 hours or less a night are more than 70% more likely to go on to develop pneumonia, which is a critical respiratory infection, which we know is part of the COVID equation. And finally, what we've learned is that if you are getting just, let's say, 4 to 5 hours of sleep in the week before you get your flu shot, you only produce 50% of the normal antibody response. You produce, in fact, less than half of the normal antibody response, rendering that immune vaccination largely useless. So this is just one example in the immune system. I could go into, as I said, the cardiovascular system, your reproductive system, the regulation of your appetite and how that works with sleep, or any manner of these things. But that was just one example that I think is perhaps relevant during this moment in time.